So the dev server is finally out, and it does introduce or showcase a bunch of brand new features while at the same time bringing in some things that I don't really agree with, which I'll go ahead and outline in today's video. Now, before I go ahead and get started, I just want to let you guys know that I will not be covering any of the aviation or naval stuff, seeing that I don't really feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff, seeing that I'm not really well educated with aviation. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that to the professionals, at least for the time being. There are many other creators such as Spitfire, Tech, etc., Adam the Engineer. Those are other fantastic creators who will be covering that stuff. So go ahead and feel free to check them out. Now, moving on to the actual vehicles itself. One of the biggest features I want to go ahead and talk about in detail is one thing that you guys did see with the teaser trailer, and that is the hunter-killer capabilities of armored vehicles. Now, what that basically means is the commander in actual armored vehicles, they can take control of the gun, overriding the gunner and utilize it to their own effect. So, for example, if the commander sees something and the gunner does not through his more or less very narrow linear sight, he can slave the gun and take full control over it. Now, some of the advantages that really offers in War Thunder, especially in real life too, is you are no longer having to rely on your gunner as much as you would think, okay? Now, one of the biggest strategies that I like to use, especially against these vehicles, is I like to go for the gunner. So, for example, I'll aim down here, and he's got a really weird-looking face. If I shoot him right up here in the crotch groin area, poor dude, it'll also take out the gunner. However, most of the time, the commander will be left intact. So what that means now is the commander can now switch over to the CITV view, slave the weapon, and fully control it, immediately attacking or re-engaging the target that just engaged you. Now, that is a huge bonus and buff, and very experienced players will utilize that to really good effect. Now, the cool thing about this is that the Leopard 2A6, 2A5 aren't going to be the only vehicles to have this. The M1A2 Abrams, I believe the M1A1 as well. I haven't really figured out which, if not every single top tier vehicle has this capability. But what I can tell you is that the M1A2 has it. The M60 TTS, oddly enough, does have it too. The Merkava Mark 3D does not. I don't believe the Leopard 2 PL also has it. I haven't really figured out or determined which of the vehicles do not, but you can pretty easily tell judging by how modern the vehicle is, such as, of course, the Leopard 2A6, even the T80U, as well as the T90, and believe it or not, the T55A has, never mind, a commander optic, but that's not the point. Point being is the T80U, the T72B3, they all have this capability. Now, let's go ahead and go into the Leopard 2A6 really quick, and I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what I mean, as well as talking more about the features itself. One thing you'll notice right away is that the audio changes almost every single update. I kid you not. Gaijin likes to change the gun sounds. They like to change... See, it sounds a lot different now, right? So now this is where things get a little bit tricky, okay? Now, you have 3 sights now. Now, normally you would have this right here. This is your gunner view, which does feature your thermal sight. This is your bino view, which the thermal sight was taken away from it. So I'm currently clicking on the key right now. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. And it does not have it. And now you have this right here, which does feature the thermal sight. Now, what you're seeing is an actual physical item. The actual sight up here is actually moving, this sight right here, which is really nice. I don't think if I can move the turret. Yeah, you can kind of see it moving a little bit. There you go. Now, this actually requires a certain keybind. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really quick what I mean. So if I go ahead and jump into controls here, I'll just jump into ground vehicles, type in commander right there. Just and you'll see this right here, commander fire control and commander's sight. Now, B for binoculars, okay? That's where I have my normal B at. Now, if I want to go ahead and control just the binos is in B, commander sight, left control B, seems to work out really well for me, and then commander fire control system. So basically, if I press control B, it puts me in this sight. But if I click control left click, which I just bound, it'll say aim mode. Now, this does toggle, thankfully. So as you can see, I'm not controlling it. Now I'm controlling it. So basically what that does is you can see right here, I can drive the tank, I can move the tank, and I can do this. And I can fire it, etc., completely overriding the gunner. This works entirely once you lose your gunner. However, there is a flip side to this. Unfortunately, if you do lose your commander, you no longer gain access to this. Now, you can still use it. It just will not move anymore. Let me go ahead and disable that. It's, as you can see, it is moving, but you will not be able to utilize this anymore. Now, another thing too is the object, or the optic is a physical repairable item. So if someone shoots at this, they can break it. You have to repair it before you can use it again. Let me show you an example here. All right. Did they just add so many trees here?
Yeah, they look new.
Yeah, they look pretty new. Anyways, go ahead and shoot me right in the optic. Perfect. Yeah, I can't move it side to side anymore, just up and down. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's honestly the example I wanted. Thanks. So the downside of losing your commander and not having that CITV is that your binos no longer have the thermal sight. Please don't mind Raph down there as he's freaking out, switching over everything. He knows I'm recording right now. So Raph, you dork. And going back to what I was trying to say is it does change the dynamic of the top tier gameplay guide quite a bit, because now you only have your binos with no thermal sight, meaning that it's going to be more difficult to identify targets at a distance with your superior thermal optics in your commander viewpoint, seeing that once you lose your commander and your optic is pointed in a certain direction, it stays there until you either replace your commander or get a new vehicle, depending on how many crew you lose. On the other side of that, I know there's a lot of flip sides going on, is now you don't need your gunner. It gets replaced entirely until you lose the entirety of the crew or you have one crew member left. So I guess that is a good bonus to that. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the other vehicles in the current update. Well, the ground vehicles, that is. And up next, we have the Dardo. Yeah, I had no idea this was coming in until I saw the dev stream, the official one, and thought, holy crap, the Italians get the Dardo. I've known a little bit about this. I don't really know too much about it, but I want to go ahead and call this the Mickey Mouse tank. And I know you guys are probably listening to me being like, what the hell does he mean by that? Let me go ahead and take you right into the test drive and show you exactly what I mean by that. Now, in the test drive itself, this does get the TOW-2B missiles, the M1919 APFSDS found in the Chadley, or the M3A3 Bradley. We're just going to call it Chadley anyway. But it only gets 2 belts of 75, so you only have 150 rounds of the APFSDS, while you can still carry just a bit more of the other types of rounds. And check this out. Listen to this. Now, it does have a thermal sight. Listen to this. It's like a little squeak. It's a mouse squeak. It's got the ears and everything, and it has that. Oh, and the rate of fire. Do you like torturing people's breeches and barrels? Well, guess what? You get to do it with APFSDS now. It's a little bit far away, but you kind of get what I'm trying to say. Squeak. And another squeak. I hit a tree. Yeah, that's it. It does not get the commander view or the commander's periscope, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's the Dardo. Let's go outside and talk more about it, shall we? I still get a really good kick out of firing the ATGMs. I really hope they keep it like that because it sounds funny. The Bradley might also have that, or a bunch of the other missile carriers, but I haven't taken the time to really check that out. But going further with the actual vehicle itself, 9.0 IFV, laser warning system, as well as laser rangefinder in the same category here. Of course, thermal sight is a tier 2 modification. M1919 APFSD is here, and you get to carry, of course, APDS, as well as the default belt with HV rounds in it. TOW-2B, TOW-2 missiles. Cool, right? Yeah, nothing really too fancy about this, but it's nice to have something for the Italians. And since we're talking about IFVs, let's take a look at one that is not exactly the best, but is a good start, shall we? The Marder A1. Check this out. This is basically a Leopard 2K's turret. Like, if you take a look at that really quick, just look at that. It looks exactly like the top machine gun or cannon of the Leopard 2K. And it pretty much has the exact same belt, at least from what I've noticed. It does carry a... Actually, let me go ahead and show you right here. Is it a Milan? Yeah, it's a Milan ATGM. Not exactly the best, but when you're sitting at battle rating 7.3, it really isn't too terrible. You do get DM43 APIs. As you can see right here, the base pen right there. That's what you'll pretty much be expecting for the Leopard 2K, which I think does get an APDS belt or an HVAT belt in it. I really do forget, to be honest. No thermal sight, laser rangefinder, really cool. It is a light vehicle, so it can scout. Its armor is pretty poor for the most part, 11 millimeters, 15 millimeters. Rear side has 11, so yeah, try not to get 50 cal in this thing, but when the crew sits so deep into here, it's actually not that bad. And you also have the hunter killer capability as well. I think, actually. Let's go ahead and go into the test drive and kind of showcase exactly what I mean. So there it is. Now, there is the commander view. It's kind of a fixed sight. It does have... Oh, I actually didn't mean to do that. Yeah, but it does have the hunter killer capability, so that's really nice. You're not really going to use it, seeing that the optic is right next to it anyways. Plus, you get to see it a little higher with with the actual gun itself. So yeah, that's honestly really it. Nothing really too impressive. It does have a rear-mounted gun, which does work, believe it or not, as you can see right there. Right now, there's a bug going on where you cannot fire the missile until you're in a certain range. So if I just keep going, it'll fire eventually. Clicking, 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 and fire. As you can see right there. It's kind of like a 120-degree cone where the missile will fire. That might be a bug, unfortunately. And no stabilizer. However, it doesn't really need it, because check this out. We are going almost full speed. It's kind of slow, I know, and just take a look at how stabilized that is. It's almost like a free-handed stabilizer. So, not exactly terrible, not great either, but it's definitely something to really have. And with night vision devices, it's not too shabby. So let's go ahead and get back into the hangar. I understand many people may be a little upset seeing that this is the version of the Marder we did receive, but don't look at it as a terrible thing. This is nothing more than an entry-level IFV for the Germans. I know they have the Beglite and everything, but now they have a true infantry fighting vehicle, which is the Marder, and it's been something that we've been wanting to have for a very long time now. I'm very certain, much like the Bradley, we're going to be getting different variants, maybe not in this patch, actually, probably not in this patch, but in the near future. Now, I'm not saying that's entirely true. I'm just speculating what we might be getting very soon. If you didn't notice, by the way, this is a custom hangar. So, just saying. Yeah, it's a pretty big vehicle, isn't it? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the next ones. And next we have the TAM 2IP. This bad boy is the latest premium vehicle for the Germans, and it doesn't really introduce too much, at least not from what I've noticed. It has composite armor on the sides, which does really well against some autocannon rounds, 20 millimeter, 50 cal, etc. Anything larger than that, you're still going to have a really hard time with it. It's still a fast vehicle, 75 kilometers an hour, which can go front and backwards at the same speeds, and it also does feature DM33, which is really nice for a premium vehicle, for any vehicle for that matter. Regular night vision devices, and that's honestly really it. Everything you would want to know from the TAM is here. It has the same bad optic, as you can see right about there, right there. That's a tiny little optic, 12 times zoom with a set FOV of 6. There's no wiggle room, not one bit. Same as the TAM 2C, same as the regular TAM. So, and it does get commander optic, which is really nice, but not really needed. Fully stabilized platform. Is it worthwhile in my opinion? I would say honestly the Leopard A1A1 L44 is probably a worthwhile deal compared to this, but that's just me. Now, I guess off to the next one. Up next is the Concept 3. I have no idea why it's called the Concept 3, but this is an interesting one. Simply because it's a battle rating 4.3 vehicle, but it has a laser rangefinder. I have no idea why. This is the lowest battle rating vehicle with a laser rangefinder. It's not something I really agree with. It doesn't get the whole laser rangefinding automatically setting your height, or not the height, excuse me, the sight distancing, which is a good thing on this thing because, let's be honest here, laser rangefinder fighting World War II, early World War II tanks, come on guys, that's a little rough, okay? So I can understand it. I don't really agree with it having it, but at the same time, it has similar firepower to pretty much everything else in that battle rating, as you can see right here. So is it going to be OP? Maybe in the right hands it could be. I don't really know, but we will find out in the near future. And next up, the Japanese M47. Nothing really special about this. It's pretty much the exact same thing as we found with the Americans and the German MKPZ-47. Nothing special. Shot rounds, basic heat FS, rangefinder, night vision device, and no stabilizer. So it's kind of a given. It's kind of a normal vehicle. It's nice to kind of flesh out the Japanese tree just a little bit. However, 7.3, it's going to be sitting there in an incredibly lonely spot, unfortunately. So I guess if you're a fan of the M47, there you go. You got a new one. I'm sorry if I sound disappointed. I kind of am. Off to the next one. Now, the Chinese get 3 new vehicles: the PGZ-09, the PGZ-04A, and the WMA-301. These are some really weird names. Seriously, you couldn't call it like, I don't know, like how the Dardo is, or the M1 Abrams, or the Type 96 or something. You guys couldn't go easier with that? That's just me. Don't mind my phone going crazy. So what does this bad boy really bring? It's a Gepard, pretty much. That's it. It has less ammunition than the Gepard. It's nothing really fancy. It does have a thermal sight, which is very interesting. It is a Gen 1 thermal sight, and it also has the hunter-killer capability, which is very unusual. Yeah, I know, for an SPAA, right? But I guess it kind of is what it is. Next up being the PGZ-04A. Think of this as a budget Tunguska. And I know I'm kind of saying that very loosely in a mean term, but that's pretty much what it is. These surface-to-air missiles, they are IR guided, are absolutely terrible. They do not work. Let me go ahead and show you real quick. Okay, so who's going to be the unwilling victim for these man-pads? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and lock this guy up really quick. Let's get him at a normal angle. Just to kind of... I think that seems good, right?
Nope.
Yeah, that's not going to catch him. All right, how about this guy up here? Let's find out. Let's get you, and give me a lock here, please, and let's fire. You're going to fire? Oh, it's got a load, apparently. I didn't even know that myself. There we go. And the sun might interfere with that, to be honest, but yeah, that's a little bit of a ways away. I will happily admit that. So let's try this other guy really quick. Let's see if this works again. Come on, give me a good lock here. It seems about right. What? What? Come on. These got to be more reliable than that. Let's try that one more time. Come on, I got one more. Oh, man, these guys, use your guns. I'm probably using them wrong, but definitely just use the guns. Okay. It does lock on, which is nice, as you can see here. Come on, give me that juicy kill. There we go. Yeah, use the guns instead, guys. Just saying. Back to the hangar. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, locking onto your target and then firing the missile doesn't really help. In fact, it doesn't do anything to change the missile platform. I've been told to do that with the Type 93, but I don't really notice any change in performance. So, yeah, that's honestly really it. Now, moving over to the WMA 301, this is the premium version of the what's it called? The PTL-02, excuse me. And it does bring some really cool features, actually, over the PTL-02 at a 0.3 battle rating increase. Now, I'm pretty sure they'll increase this a little bit later, but check this out. It has everything you would want. It has the proxy fuse shell type. It has normal heat. It has HESH. Who uses HESH anyway? And it also has a tandem warhead. Check this out. 750 millimeter base pen. It will go through ERA just fine. Well, most ERAs anyway. And it does a really good job, well, dealing with your opponents. And it doesn't, for some reason, have the reload penalty, which I think they said it was going to be having it, but it's not showing right now. So, in all honesty, I'm pretty sure a lot of players will be using this missile to get the job done over the APF-SDS, which is pretty good for the most part. But at battle rating 8.3, even to 9.3, that tandem warhead is going to serve you incredibly well. Laser rangefinder, generation 1 or 2 thermal sights. I can't really tell, to be honest, right now. My eyes are a little weird. And the sights themselves, if I can go ahead and find it really quick, 6 times to 11 times zoom, 83 kilometers an hour. And a commander sight, too. I don't think it has the hunter-killer capabilities quite yet. And yeah, that's it. Is it worthwhile? Probably better. Actually, I would say it would probably be a lot better than the Type 69 2G, at least in my opinion. So I guess that's something to really look forward to, and it has a decent lineup for it anyways. Now, off to the next one. So I heard you guys like having 5G in the middle of your game, and if for some reason you ever notice your reception becomes very poor or you lose your 5G capabilities, there's a very good chance that somebody decided to destroy this tank. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's a really bad joke. I know Mike and Oxy used it in the dev stream, okay? I'm sure they won't mind me using it too. Now, what does this bring? Well, the Swedish and the French both get the exact same thing. I kid you not. Check that out. It's the exact same thing. Same capabilities and everything. This is something that's going to change up the French SPAA quite a bit, and maybe just a little bit for the Swedish as well, because the French really don't have anything too good to deal with, seeing that the Roland 1 kind of sucks a lot. However, this super tall vehicle has one good thing stock: the VT-1 missiles. If you're familiar with the Radkampfwagen, I think it is Flak Radwagen. I forget what the name of it is, to be honest. The German Eurobus, okay, or the Bang Blast, however you want to go ahead and call it. This gets 8 VT-1 missiles that can be fired in succession. So if you're familiar with that, you'll feel right at home with this bad boy. On the flip side, it's tall. It's really, really tall. Yeah, so fragmentation rounds up here will probably kill you. Just saying. So, yeah, that's something I really do or am looking forward to for the French. And that honestly really does it. There's not a whole lot of other features that were introduced. The Germans did get some new tracks for their Panthers. As you can see right here, brand new shiny tracks. I think someone reminded me. I haven't played the Panthers or looked at their tracks in a hot minute, so I may have missed that entirely, but that's what someone has told me is they got new tracks. So that's really nice. There were some new camos for a bunch of new vehicles, such as the M1A2 right here, or new camos for some existing vehicles, excuse me. As you can see right here, we have, of course, the Summer Verdance, Red Desert, which I think looks really pretty. This is something I'll probably keep. And then, of course, we have the Gray Desert, which I think it was already existing. I think it was pretty new. I forget, to be honest. I don't really use too many skins anymore, or just mostly customs. So yeah, that honestly really does it, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize if I did miss a couple of things. If I did, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below, guys, and I'll go ahead and definitely take, is that the, oh yeah, that's the tournament M1A1. I forgot that existed, to be honest. Yeah, custom hanger right here, so it shows a bunch of unique stuff. Now, anyways, moving to what I was trying to say really quick. If I did go ahead and miss anything, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below, or either in my Discord or even at my Twitter. You can just private message me or tag me, and I'll go ahead and try to correct myself as best as I can for the follow-up video talking about the next dev server, which my guess should be coming out either later this week or probably next weekend. That's just my guess. Now, with all of that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy everything. If you want to see this type of stuff live, I do have my live stream set up to go watch the VOD, which I did cover this stuff live earlier today. So if you want more detail about everything, including aviation to some extent, feel free to go ahead and check that out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and head off, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for checking this out, and I will see you guys not only in the next video or even the streams, but in War Thunder itself. Enjoy the dev server, guys, and I'll see you next time.